evening. I would like to now call to order the regular town board meeting September 19th, 2017. Visitors are invited to join the board members in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Barnum.
Here.
Councilwoman Hush-LaRae.
Here.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Supervisor Sealy.
Here.
An attorney for the town.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a modest agenda tonight. No public hearings, which is a change up from our previous few board meetings. We're going to have a presentation to start our meeting after my remarks. As always, I welcome our guests to stay for the duration of the meeting. You're certainly not encumbered to do so, so if you do not wish to see our regular order of business, you're welcome to leave. Nevertheless, it's always nice seeing our Broderick meeting room full with attendees. Just a few remarks before we get to our body of work. Last Friday, we had roughly a dozen applications submitted for this year's Neighborhood Enhancement Program. For those of you who don't know, this is a small grant program that allows neighborhoods to really direct where we invest town resources, which I call a lot of enrichment projects. We look forward to reviewing them in our upcoming meetings. For more information on existing neighborhood associations or how to form your own, please visit irondequoiteneighborhoods.org. On Saturday, October 7th, Senator Rich Funke will be hosting an electronic recycling collection event at the former Irondequoit Mall from 9 a.m. to noon. For a list of acceptable materials for recycling, please visit www.sunking.com/acceptable materials. Again, this is in the parking lot of the former mall, and as someone who just had a garage sale, I can tell you I will be attending, as I was unable to unload some old TVs. So, for those of you who don't know, a lot of these electronics you have to recycle through this matter, so it's a good opportunity, and I encourage you to take advantage of it. The Department of Public Works, DPW, will be hosting an open house on Saturday, September 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join Commissioner Kiley, Deputy Commissioner Sinton, and the men and women of our DPW as they showcase their equipment that maintains and protects our infrastructure. It's always a fun time for the kids, and again, this takes place at 25 Kings Highway on the Town Hall campus. The Irondequoit Police Department is hiring and looking for capable future officers. Chief Tantillo and his team have bolstered their recruitment efforts, and we applaud them for that. For more information on how to apply and enter into a career of community service and protection, please visit cs.monroecounty.gov.hr/apply, and that is on the screen for those of you who are not able to write it down. I will soon be asking board members to join me in signing a proclamation recognizing Domestic Violence Month in the month of October. As Irondequoit will join thousands of communities across the country in bringing awareness to this ever-present issue. 1 in 3 women are victims during their lives, and in some studies as many as 1 in 4 men. The Irondequoit Police Department will be hosting its annual candlelight vigil on October 5th at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall gazebo to honor victims of domestic violence. And I would be remiss for not mentioning that, once again, Chief Tantillo is helping to raise awareness and support for victims, and Chief will be participating in the Walk a Mile in My Shoes event for the Willow Domestic Violence Center on October 14th. For those of you watching at home, you can see him proudly displaying a nice pair of purple shoes, which he again will be walking to raise money and awareness for domestic violence victims. I wanted to bring attention to a good program we offer at Town Hall, just because I always want it to be utilized. The Irondequoit Home Improvement Program, called IHIP, is funded by Federal Community Development Block Grant. Under this program, based on your income, you may be eligible for a subsidy that will pay up to $4,500 of home repair and improvement costs. For more information on guidelines to see if you qualify, please visit the town website or call 336-6021. Reminder that the Farmers Market runs every Thursday through October 19th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's been the weather has turned around after a few rough weeks, and we've had delightful weather, and it's been so nice to see folks coming to enjoy the market. The Drug-Free Irondequoit Together Coalition, also known as DeFi Together, continues to grow. With Red Ribbon Week falling in the last week of October, DeFi Together Coalition members will be hosting a series of events centered on education, awareness, and eliminating stigma as Irondequoit continues to battle the rising drug crisis. And I think today we saw some startling numbers released regarding opioid deaths this past year. It is an issue that we are committed to addressing, and this coalition is doing terrific work. This will include a musical festival, the United Church of Christ, on September 29th and 30th to raise funds for the coalition. On October 14th, a Saturday, Defy Together will join the St. Paul Fire Department community open house and feature a hidden in plain sight display that attempts to educate parents about the sometimes unnoticed presence of drugs and alcohol in the home. And again, this is at the St. Paul Firehouse on Cooper Road. And lastly, on Saturday, October 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Arundecoit Police Department will be hosting a Not in My House prescription drug drop-off at the police department. For more information, contact police and at arundecoit.org. And lastly, on Saturday, I had the very great pleasure of joining our friends in the Arundecoit Rotary and doing a tour of the 10 new little libraries that are located throughout town that were built through funds donated by our Rotarians. They really were terrific. They're really dotting the town map. And I encourage you, if you don't have one in your neighborhood, take a look at how to possibly get one. They're relatively cheap, and it's neat to see this take off organically. They're always full of books, and it's a nice opportunity to build community fabric. For more information, you can visit the town Facebook page. And with that, I'm going to ask my fellow board members to join myself and Chief Tantillo at the podium for a brief presentation. So I will turn it over to Chief briefly, but I just wanted to give a few remarks. The concept, the parable of the Good Samaritan is one of the probably most often taught, perhaps well-known passages in the Christian Bible. It's the man traveling to Jericho, attacked by robbers, left bloody on the side of the street. Some pass by this, but the Samaritan does not pass by. He goes to attend to the perfect stranger, bandages his wounds, brings him to shelter. And the lesson that Jesus taught was love thy neighbor, and as you would love yourself. And our neighbor it might be someone we know. It could be someone we've never met. The events that bring us to this brief recognition tonight are tragic and heroic. Amidst a tragedy was heroism and selfless acts to protect the well-being of complete strangers. Good Samaritans often have more regard for the well-being of perfect strangers than themselves. I believe it's that innate love and care for each other that makes us human. And sadly, it does not come at times without risk. And we're reminded a few nights ago in the city of Rochester, a 63-year-old man was being robbed when a 56-year-old man attempted to intervene. The Good Samaritan was shot in the torso, thankfully without life-threatening injuries, but a reminder sometimes of the risk that we take to help someone we've never met. Last year, we honored an Arundecoit resident who came to the aid of an elderly gentleman who was being attacked. And we never want to be recognizing them because the events often that bring us to that point are not good and are sometimes often tragic. But I feel it's appropriate to recognize the Good Samaritan or Good Samaritans nevertheless. And with that, I will turn it over to Chief Tantillo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor. Well said. If I could also have Sergeant James Reed come forward, please. Tonight we're here to recognize individuals and families that assisted those in need on August 19th, 2017. If I could have Vincent Sigalo come forward, please. Lynn Day come forward, please. And Brandon Putnam come forward, please. On August 19th at around 5:07 p.m., the Arundecoit Police responded to 4999 Culver Road, the Arundecoit Bay Outlet, for the report of people in the water in distress and drowning. Two Good Samaritans took immediate action and jumped into the water to swim out and help the children who were struggling to stay afloat. One of the males that jumped into the water identified was Philip Orzik, age 55, from Connecticut, and Mr. Orzik couldn't be with us here tonight, but we still honor his duty to others. Mr. Orzik swam to the aid of one of the children and helped the child get back to land safely. A second male identified as Jason Siglo from Arundequoit also jumped in and swam to the second child in distress. Mr. Siglo helped the child stay afloat to prevent him from drowning, but wasn't able to swim back to shore. Our boater noticed the events and quickly came to the area. Two adults on the boat, Lynn Day of Henrietta and Brandon Putnam of Syracuse, jumped into the water and continued to assist the child to land. Mr. Siglo was still in the water and had become unconscious and was in need of medical assistance. He was brought to the pier where EMS and Arundequoit police members had arrived and started CPR. Mr. Siglo was transported to Rochester General Hospital, where he unfortunately succumbed to his injuries while rescuing one of the children. The 9 and 10-year-old brothers from Arundequoit suffered minor injuries and were transported to Strong Hospital and fortunately later released. Because of the heroic actions of Jason Siglo, Philip Orzik, Lynn Day, and Brandon Putnam, the two children were saved. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the Siglo family. It is our honor to present the Arundequoit Making a Difference Award to Vincent Siglo on behalf of his father, Jason. It's our honor to present the Making a Difference Award to Lynn Day. And it's our honor to present the Making a Difference Award to Brandon Putnam. I would just ask that you join me in giving them a standing ovation for their heroic acts.
Sorry. We're good. Well, thank you, Chief, and your department for facilitating that, and we're honored to have all three of our guests here tonight. I also want to just commend, in addition to our Good Samaritans, the fine work of our police department. Sergeant Jim Reed was responsible for responding to the call and really controlling the scene. And for those officers who assisted him, we're grateful for them, and we do not take our department for granted. With that, we will go on to public input. We have one person signed up for public input tonight. Certainly, if folks wish to speak and have not signed up, they're free to do so. I just asked after we've gone through the one person, you're welcome to come to the podium. And as always, just make sure you say your name and address, and we generally keep it between 3 and 5 minutes. First up, signed up is Jeff Goldblatt, 128 Parkside Crescent. Jeff, why don't we just give a sec to clear out, and then I'll even yield an extra minute to you.
Give me a second to set up.
One of the few public input participants that comes with props. I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye now.
They tend to help. Or at least I hope they do. Good evening, Jeff Goldblatt, 128 Parkside Crescent. I am speaking this evening as an independent solid waste consultant. Back in April, this article, "Plastic Bags Sabotage the Recycling Plant," appeared in what's left of the morning newspaper. My hope is that the county and the haulers would capitalize on this article and beat the drum about ongoing problems that the county has. Unfortunately, as we all remember, most of us were dealing with the aftermath of Mother Nature's wrath, and so that didn't happen. In May, I was asked by a senior county official to present before the county legislature, and because of life and hip business getting in the way, that finally happened last month. This evening, it's your turn. The county is facing two challenges, and this faces all of us: tonnage and contamination. Tonnage. The county is under a commitment to the state to, within 7 years, be at 60% diversion countywide. Currently, and this article points this out, we're at 38%. We are behind and behind badly. And if that sounds like a huge leap, consider that the Syracuse area, Onondaga County, is already at 60%, and they've always been very aggressive in regards to the handling of commodities and yard waste. So everyone needs to do their part. If you're not recycling, and I see houses around that aren't, I don't know why, they're not charging any extra for it. There's even businesses in Arundequoit that I don't see recycling. If there's a cost issue, there is competition. You can shop around, but everyone does need to do their part because it is both money as well as feedstock to make new products that you'll buy in the store. Contamination is the biggest issue, and there are a number of things that folks can do to help out in that regard. Number one, no plastic bags of any kind or plastic wrap at the curb. All these are doing is jamming up the processing equipment at the recycling center. This is Waste Management, and they operate the recycling center. Their 2014 sustainability report. Now, I know you can't see the picture from here, but this happens to show their guys climbing up on the equipment, which they have to shut down 6 to 8 times a day in order to clear plastic bags and plastic wrap. And by this picture, it doesn't look very safe either. So plastic wrap and plastic bags, please take them back to a store drop-off bin and keep them out of your recycling bins or carts. Cans and bottles. And these are things that this article pointed out. Whether it's peanut butter that hasn't been finished, or here's a tangy marinade with a matador on the front. I don't know what that has to do with marinade. You can do your own joke. But in any event, these things need to be washed out. Otherwise, they go to the landfill. The county is dealing with upwards of 3,000 tons of junk like this every year that goes to the landfill because they weren't washed. Please make sure you do that. Hot water and soap. Styrofoam, extruded polystyrene. Egg cartons cannot be recycled in Monroe County. These go in your trash. However, plastic peanuts that you'll get in a corrugated box, the UPS stores will take these. In fact, I called a couple of them this morning at random just to be sure. Those you can, and there's a number of them. Unfortunately, we don't have a UPS store in Arundequoit, but there are quite a few of them in Monroe County. They will take these. They can be reused. Doing things like that will help. Also, something that has not been very well promoted is the Western New York Materials Exchange, mat-ex.org. If you have things, or if your business has things that could take a second life, this is a free service. You can list things that you want to move or things that you might be able to use yourself. Take advantage of it. It's a free service. In fact, riding over here this evening, there was a house that I went by that had furniture at the curb. Right now, there are people in need, whether they're in Texas, Louisiana, Florida. Please remember, the Salvation Army and Vietnam vets still make home visits. Unfortunately, we lost Volunteers of America. They used to be here 3 days a week. But regardless, if it has a second life, don't put it at the curb for your trash because it's the easy thing to do. Remember that there are people who have lost everything and they could use your help. With that, those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goldblatt, and we look forward to seeing you in a few months for hopefully our annual budget
This is a rare second
feedback. I
appearance.
know. I thought for a second it was early November. While Mr. Goldblatt gets his props, anyone who is not signed up that wishes to address the board for public input is welcome to come up. And, okay, we will now move on to the financial report. Comptroller Seeley.
The 2017 financial results for the town as of August 31st. Total expenditures and encumbrances are $25,736,000, which equates to 75.4% of budget. And that's higher than the 66.7% of the year that has elapsed. Actual expenditures are $22,787,000, and encumbrances are $2,949,000. Included in the total expenditures of $25.7 million is approximately $3.5 million of fire-related expenditures, $2,675,000 of actual fire-related expenditures, and $867,000 of encumbrances. Without the fire-related expenses, the town would be at $22,193,000, or 65% of budget. And that's only slightly up from last year at this point in time. Fire-related cost of $3.5 million breakdown as follows. Highway Fund, $1,579,000. General Fund, $1,263,000. Sewer, $687,000. Stormwater drainage, $14,000. The general fund expenses are 21.9% of budget, or $14,382,000. The actual expenditures are $12,727,000, and the encumbrances are another $1,655,000. The general fund includes approximately $1,263,000 of fire-related expenses. If you were to exclude those expenses, the fund is 65.6% of budget. And as you see, that's lower than the percent of the year that has elapsed. The general fund experienced increased overtime in the tree and solid waste programs, primarily due to the windstorm cleanup effort earlier this year. Altogether, the highway expenses are $5,477,000, 96.6% of budget. And that's over budget for this point in time. The standard yearly expenses are prevalent, such as encumbrances for gas, fuel, asphalt, and equipment vehicles in Highway 1, installment debt in Highway 3, and salt in Highway 4. Encumbered and actual fire-related expenses in this fund, in the Highway Fund, $1,579,000. Exclusive of those expenses, the Highway Fund would be at 68.8% of budget. Regarding the other significant funds, library expenditures are $1,631,000, and that includes a debt service payment for a bond anticipation note of $444,000. The 68.2 expenditure percentage results from timing and is expected to level off by year end. The general fund has expended 77.3% of its budget, $3,221,000. $687,000 of that amount is fire-related. Without those expenses, the sewer would be at 60.8% of budget. Stormwater drainage is currently at 46.3% of budget, a total of $362,000. Included there is $14,000 of fire-related cost. The non-fire related expenses equate to 44.6% of budget. The general fund revenue is 81% of budget. That's a total of $15,989,000. 100% of tax revenue is in, and that's $10.6 million. Pilot payments of $171,000, all that is currently due, are in, and pilot is payment in lieu of taxes. The recreation program revenue of $251,000 is favorable to budget at 80.2%. 5 months of sales tax totaling $1,593,000, or 39% of that budget, and 3 months of mortgage tax equal to $161,000, 20.6% of that line item budget have been received to date. The other major revenue items are not yet due. Included in general fund revenue within the other sources of revenue line item is $1,834,000 of insurance recovery for the fire. General fund revenue exclusive of fire insurance recovery is $14,155,000, or 71.7% of budget. The total town revenue and appropriated fund balance for the first 8 months of the year equate to $28.5 million, or 84.3% of budget. Included in this total town revenue is $2.3 million of fire insurance recovery. Without the insurance recovery, the receipts would be $26.2 million, or 77.6% of budget. The real estate taxes across all funds, $16.7 million, and as stated earlier in the year, those taxes are all in for the year. Year-to-date revenue for the library is $2,326,000, 97.3% of budget. The highway has recorded 78% of revenue, $4.4 million. This includes $70,000 of fire insurance recovery. Without the recovery, the fund would be at 76.7% of revenue. Sewer has received $4.4 million, 105.9% of budget. Contained in sewer revenue is $351,000 of insurance recovery. The fund would be at 97.5% of budget without the recovery. This concludes my financial report for the month of August.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Any questions for Annie? And as always, I thank you for you and your staff for just being diligent in trying to separate these fire-related expenses versus non-fire-related. It's helpful. You look at spending. If you looked at this without that, we would think we were way above spending for the year. But when you divorce the fire-related spending, it's we're rather tracking rather not favorably, but just consistent with previous years. So thank you. Okay. Motion to accept the financial report.
Second?
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is accepted. Madam Clerk.
Approval of minutes, August 8, 2017, the workshop meeting.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Questions or comments, revisions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
One abstention?
Thank you. Councilwoman Hushler Ray abstains.
August 15, 2017, the regular town board meeting.
Motion.
Move.
And a second.
Second?
Any questions, comments, or revisions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved.
August 28, 2017, the special town board meeting.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or revisions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk?
Items for board action. Item number 1, calling for a public hearing on the matter of granting a special use permit for 529 East Ridge Road, East Ridge Billiards, also known as 512 East Ridge Road, in a C Business District.
Can I have a motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second.
Ms. Ivers, explanation, please?
Mr. Supervisor, this application is associated with plans at the location to expand an existing billiards and entertainment facility. It's a long-standing and pre-existing business, and because of that, they never had a special use permit granted at that location. Now, in light of the expansion, it's prudent for them to obtain the special use permit that's required by town code in this zoning district. And so this is simply just applying for a special use permit to operate a business that requires one under the code, and it's for the billiard function itself is a special use, as well as any restaurant or bar that seats more than 30. And so that's the case, both of those are triggers for this particular application. And so by code, a special use permit's needed and a public hearing's required before that can be granted.
Thank you, and we'll hold the hearing at next month's regular town board meeting. Carrie, just is there any, are they changing any uses, or is the nature of the business changing at all relative to how it's been during the years?
If anything, they're actually reducing the number of pool tables, they're expanding their menu, it's turning more into a wider range of a entertainment spot, if you will, at that location. There's no change to the hours of operation that's consistent with what's currently happening there. So this is really just rectifying and applying a special use permit to a long-standing business.
Very good. Any questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 2, accepting an application and calling for a public hearing on the matter for rezoning parcels on Titus Avenue and Lorraine Drive.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, explanation, please?
Thank you. So this application is, as you will recall, this board adopted a resolution last month approving an expanded pilot for the I-Square development. One of the conditions of that approval, or that the pilot expansion, was the obtaining the rezoning that would be needed to advance any additional redevelopment. And so what you have before you is an application to rezone 9 of the original, and I do apologize, there's a typo, it's 9 of the original 13 additional or expanded parcels for the pilot, and so we do need to make that one correction. And then, in addition to that, a couple of adjacent parcels have expressed their interest in also being considered for the rezoning. And so the rezoning would be taking existing zoned parcels R1 or R6 along Titus Avenue and R1 along Lorraine Drive, and converting them to mixed-use commercial, which would be consistent with the current zoning that's in place under the existing footprint of the I-Square development.
Thank you. And what kind of radius do we have for notification of?
We've done, we'll do 1,000 feet from the location, from the outer boundary of the rezoning application.
And just to clarify, this would be to go from either predominantly R1, a few R6 to what we call MUC, mixed-use commercial.
Correct.
Questions or comments? That, again, will be next month. And I will just offer the following amendment, Barb, to the third whereas. It would be 9 of the 13. So the letter, the word 13 and in parentheses 13 as well. And with that amendment, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 3, authorizing 2017 tax levies.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Ms. Ivers, your favorite resolution of the year. Explanation, please.
So this resolution would allow the town to levy any unpaid code enforcement related charges that the town has not been paid for. So fines and fees associated with property maintenance, grass cutting, general property maintenance, enclosures, things of that nature. Of any unpaid fines would be levied against the individual parcels levied as a tax and attached to the property. We typically, we go up until the date of September 30th, and so it's a moving target. So whatever that number is at September 30th, folks would have up until then to pay and not have the charge be levied. And it gets levied to the 2018 tax bill.
Thank you, and these are then affixed to the 2018 tax bill and guaranteed by the county, correct?
Oh, correct.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, establishing that the town board will no longer entertain the matter for rezoning 41 Colebrook Drive.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Thank you, John. And a second from Councilwoman Hushler-Ray. This resolution would establish that the town board will no longer entertain the matter for rezoning at 41 Colebrook. As many are aware, several months ago, Thornton Engineering, acting as an agent for Capstone Real Estate Development, submitted an application for rezoning one parcel of land located at 41 Colebrook Drive. The application was referred to the planning board and Monroe County Planning Department for review, and received comments pursuant to state law. The town board, at this point, has decided it no longer wants to entertain the application. The town board has legislative discretion to determine if and when to consider zoning changes. The vast majority of views expressed at our public hearing and submitted comments indicated that moving forward with the rezone would not be the right decision. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 5, authorizing the Director of Development Services, Planning and Zoning Administrator and Town Assessor to attend the First Cities Rise convening.
Motion? And a second.
Second.
Ms. Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This stands for Cities for Responsible Investment and Strategic Enforcement. We were awarded this grant back in June, even though we are a town, we're special, and we got this anyway. This is spearheaded by the Attorney General's office. It's a valuable tool that helps us better understand troubled properties and hopefully find a pattern so that we can better address these properties in town. And there is going to be a convening for the first time in Syracuse, and we would be attending that so that we could talk about these things in person, as these are all remote people. Thank you.
Thank you. And in full disclosure, when I authorized staff to attend the conference, I was not aware that the hotels were not paid for by the program. So using available funds, we are authorizing through this resolution the 3 staff members to attend. And I'll just note, this is a very good program. In fact, Arundequoit was the only town in upstate New York to be accepted into it. So we're very excited about learning more and how it can help us with our efforts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 6, declaring certain equipment as surplus property.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hushler-Ray. Mr. Kiley, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution before the town board this evening authorizes the town board to declare all of the pieces of equipment on Addendum A as surplus to be sold to the highest bidder at the municipal auction upcoming here in Monroe County in the month of October.
For those of you listening at home interested in bidding, we have a 1982 Miller tow behind welder. We have a 1994 air remover cereal. We have a lot of stuff that I'm sure.
I also saw a gray station hut. If they had a black one, I might consider it.
I think that's would be an ethical breach, Councilwoman Wayne. But thank you, Bob, and it's always good to clear out the inventory. And it's not easy, actually, because it involves a lot of organizations. So any question or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 7, authorizing the award of the Brockway Garage East exterior wall renovation.
I have a motion?
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Kylie, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution awards the contract to repair the east side of the Brockway Garage. The eastern wall where the fire occurred is in need of repair, as the wall is not structurally sound to make it through the winter months. This contract would be awarded to Kuchum's at $196,000. We had 6 bidders and look forward to getting to work here and having this buttoned up before December.
Thanks. And they'll be able to do the work while they're constructing the temporary facility?
Correct, yes. So we are currently under construction for the temporary highway garage that's occurring right adjacent to the eastern wall. And these 2 contractors, the ones performing the installation of the new building and this contract that we're awarding tonight will work symbiotically. They'll work together to ensure that we're not on top of each other.
Well, that wall has not sentimental value, but symbolic value for us all, because it was really that wall that prevented the fire from spreading to the rest of the garage. It really is remarkable when you think about it, and I think the wind and other elements might have participated, but that wall did a good service to the town, really, and I actually mean that. It's a miracle in some regards that it didn't spread to the entire structure. So, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 8, authorizing highway superintendent to purchase equipment at the Fall Municipal Equipment Auction.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Thanks, Deputy Supervisor. Commissioner Kylie, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution authorizes myself and shop foreman Mark Newman to attend the municipal auction here upcoming in October. Again, just due to the fact that we sustained the fire, we are looking to replace many of the smaller utility F-150s, F-250s, 1 ton, 1 1/4 ton dump trucks at this auction. And so this authorizes myself and Foreman Newman to attend the auction in hopes to bring home a couple of trucks.
Thank you. For those of you who curious as to why we're blending in purchasing used trucks, first and foremost, a practical matter. We just simply don't have the funds to buy every vehicle at a new value. However, independent of that, as we've lost so many vehicles at once, we wanted to somewhat align with our former replacement schedule, meaning whoever's supervisor 10, 15 years from now wouldn't want to be encumbered with having to replace an entire fleet of vehicles at once. So this blends it in, and it's a mix of new and used vehicles, and I think it's a prudent approach and cost-effective. So any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 9, authorizing the calling of a public hearing to include 162 Lake Bluff Road into the sanitary sewer district.
Motion?
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you, Peter. Commissioner, explanation, please.
This resolution calls for a public hearing to allow the property at 162 Lake Bluff Road to enter into the consolidated sewer district. This public hearing will be held at next month's town board meeting.
And Bob, is this property owner already connected to the?
That is correct. This
Okay.
property owner has connected temporarily due to the fact that their current septic system has failed. And so at the town board workshop, we allowed them to connect in temporarily pending the public hearing. If for some reason we do receive input, we would have negatively input, and the board so chose to deny this property to enter into the consolidated sewer district, they would have to remove that connection at their sole cost.
Thank you. So the property owner does it at their own risk, but this is a flexible way to prevent any significant loss of property. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 10, authorizing the calling of a public hearing to include 166 Lake Bluff Road into the sanitary sewer district.
Motion? Moved. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Weiner. Commissioner Kylie, explanation?
Similarly to the last resolution, this resolution also calls for a public hearing for the property located at 166 Lake Bluff Road, the neighboring property, to enter into the Consolidated Sewer District. This public hearing would be held at next month's town board meeting.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk?
Item number 11, awarding construction site management services for the construction of a permanent Department of Public Works facility and approve the necessary budget transfer.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Barnum. Commissioner Kiley, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. A very exciting resolution to put forward to the town board this evening. This resolution would authorize the town to enter into a contract with Krista Construction for construction site management services for the construction of a new highway department at the interchange of 590 and Ridge Road. The RFP committee was unanimous in the decision to award this contract to Krista Construction. That RFP committee was composed of myself, town supervisor, and the deputy town supervisor. We have known Krista through the library construction project and look forward to getting to work on this exciting project here in the next coming months.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this? We've had a lot of resolutions leading up to this, so this is probably our first stake in the ground to move forward, so we'll get to work quick. And thanks to John and Bob and everyone else for really streamlining this and getting it to here tonight. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 12, awarding architecture and engineering services for the construction of a permanent Department of Public Works facility and approve the necessary budget transfer.
I have a motion.
Move.
And
Second.
a second. Thank you, Mr. Weiner. Mr. Kiley, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This resolution, similar to the previous resolution, this awards the contract for architectural and engineering services with regard to the new Department of Public Works. The RFP committee was composed of myself, Supervisor Seeley, and Councilman Weiner. The RFP committee was unanimous in its decision to award this contract to Bergman Associates. Bergman Associates has a very good portfolio of other projects, including the Perrington Department of Public Works, Ogden Department of Public Works, Chi-Li Department of Public Works. They were very, very well prepared for their presentation, and I look forward to working with them on this exciting project.
Thank you. Anyone have anything to add?
I would just like to commend Bob in the preparation of both of those RFPs, but I would also like to just reiterate that I thought Bergman made a great presentation, is really to do, I think, a great service for our town and the DPW facility, so.
Thank you, Peter. And so this gets us to a point now where we are, this bid will be awarded, this contract will be awarded, and the firm will begin working with Krista on a design, and it's an interesting plot of land, given it's an old fill site, but you know, a lot of work will take place in coordination with the town over the next several months to get us to a point where hopefully we will be breaking ground as early as possible in 2018. So our goal was to break ground within a year, and we are awfully close. We'll hopefully do it as soon as Mother Nature allows us to. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 13, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a new contract for 2017 senior recreational programming.
Motion?
Move. Second.
Second, thank you. Deputy Commissioner Sinton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. On December 15th of 2016, the board authorized you to enter into contracts, annual contracts for our senior recreational program. This new addendum B includes a new vendor, specifically the Silver Sneakers exercise program.
Thanks.
And the contract was available for board review at the workshop.
Thank you, and I know it's been a challenge finding a replacement for our previous teacher in this popular program, so thanks to you and Katrina and everyone else for searching and being diligent, and I'm sure our seniors will be happy, as they always are. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 14, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract with referees for Fall 2017 Women's Soccer League.
May I have a motion
Moved.
and a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Mr. Sinton, an explanation, please?
Again, this authorizes you to enter into contracts with the referee services for the very popular Fall Women's Soccer League at McAvoy Park.
Very good. Any questions or comments? I hear none, so all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 15, authorizing the annual audit of the town courts.
May I have a motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Comptroller, explanation, please.
This resolution is a requirement from the New York State Office of Court Administration. The requirement is to confirm that the town has a multi-year contract with a CPA firm to have annual audits provided for the town, and included in those audits would be a separate audit of the court and a separate document provided for that audit.
Any questions or comments for Madam Comptroller? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 16, authorizing grant application from the Justice Court Assistance Program.
May I have a motion?
Moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Barnum. Dave Marion, Mr. Marion, explanation, please?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution seeks authorization from the board to apply for the 2017-2018 Justice Court Assistant Program, or JCAP grant, which is administered by the New York State Unified Court System Office of Court Administration. The application, which the court intends to submit for the 2018 funding cycle, seeks funding for updates and renovations to the courtroom within the Arundecoy Public Safety Building.
Thank you, Mr. Marion. Where some might argue our courtroom is an example of classic postmodern architecture, I will argue it is in bad need of a makeover, so I'm happy to support this, and hopefully we will be awarded the funding to make some modernizations to our courtroom. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 17, appointing a new member to the Deferred Compensation Committee.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. This would appoint Scott Davis, an employee of the Department of Public Works, to the town's Deferred Compensation Board, which helps manage our plan. It is run by town employees and town retirees, and there was a vacancy, and I'm very happy to advance Scott Davis to serve a term ending December 31st, 2017. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk.
Item number 18, accepting gifts for the Arundecoy Police Department's National Night Out event.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Chief, explanation briefly, please.
Sure, Mr. Supervisor, the resolution before the board tonight will formally accept the gifts that were donated to the extensive National Night Out program that was held last month for the town of Arundecoy.
Thank you, and what a wonderful night it was, and certainly we stand out in putting on that great event for our community, and thank you very much to all of our community vendors and individuals who helped out. In addition, the ones who were not accepting gifts, a number of not-for-profits participated as well, so we thank them. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Item number 19, authorizing the placement of a traffic control device on Fairview Road.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chief, explanation, please.
Mr. Supervisor, the resolution is requesting that a stop sign be erected on Fairview Road at Sagamore Drive for westbound traffic on Fairview Road. Currently, no traffic control device exists at that intersection.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 20, authorizing the placement of a traffic control device on Drake Drive.
Motion, please,
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Chief, explanation?
This would establish a stop sign for eastbound traffic at Drake Drive as it intersects with Coronado Drive. Currently, it's somewhat of a confusing intersection, and this will greatly assist with the safety of that intersection for both motorists and pedestrians.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 21, declaring 3 police vehicles and 1 animal control vehicle surplus and authorizing the auction of said vehicles.
Thank you. May I have a motion? Move. And a second.
Second.
Explanation, Chief, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. These vehicles are beyond their useful life. They have extended mileage associated with their use and have been identified by our mechanical staff in one instance to be unsafe to be used.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk.
Item number 22, approving the special event license for I-Square LLC Fall Festival and Tree Trimming.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This would, can I have a motion, please? And a second?
Second.
Thank you. This would approve special event licenses for I-Square's Fall Festival on Saturday, September 30th, 2017, from noon to 5 p.m., and the Tree Trimming Festival on Saturday, December 2nd, 2017, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., upon conditions that I-Square notifies all affected residents before the events. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 23, authorizing the hiring of a police officer in the Arundecoy Police Department.
Motion, please.
Move.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Chief, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is recommending the selection of Kyle Phelan as a police officer. It is a vacancy that we would be filling. He's been selected from a list of eligible candidates from the Monroe County Civil Service list. He's completed all testing associated with that selection process, which includes a medical review, a psychological assessment, and an extensive background investigation. He has an excellent work history. He currently is an Arundecoy resident, and this would be for an academy position that starts later this month.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 24, authorizing the hiring of a police officer in the Arundecoy Police Department.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Peter. Chief, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Once again, this is to fill a vacancy within the Arundecoy Police Department. Recommendation is for Timothy Zaworski to join our police agency. He also has been selected from that eligibility list for Monroe County Civil Service, also has completed all of his testing associated with that selection process, which did include his medical exam, psychological assessment, and extensive background investigation. He has an excellent work history. He has served his country faithfully as he was in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years, and he is a graduate of Arundecoy High School.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? It's good to see bringing on some new officers. We've had some retirements, but I'm glad to see we've been able to recruit some very capable individuals. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. And before we adjourn, just a few housekeeping matters. Madam Clerk, can you, I'm going to make a motion to withdraw the roll call on item for board action number 1 and offer an amendment just to correct it for the record. Can I have a motion to withdraw the roll call?
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Actually, then I'll accept a motion to, a motion for the resolution.
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you. And I'm going to just offer a brief amendment. In the title of the resolution, the fourth line, instead of 512 East Ridge Road, that should read as 521, as attorney with her diligent eyes points out to me. So with that amendment, I will ask all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. And while we are circling back, just to correct for the record as well, in resolution number 2, Planning and Zoning Administrator Ivers said that the town board approved expansion of the project. Just to clarify, we supported expansion. The town board does not have the ability to approve expansion. That would fall on committee. However, we did support expansion through resolution. So just wanted to correct that for the record. And keep us here past 8 o'clock. But I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second?
Second. Second.
And before we adjourn, I'll just point out our next regular town board meeting workshop is October 10th, Tuesday, at the Broderick Meeting Room, 4 p.m. Next regular town board meeting is Tuesday, October 17th, 2017, 7 PM. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Arundecoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Arundecoit's government access channel.